Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a truly fascinating legal battle that is essentially a classic David versus Goliath story. But, this conflict doesn't take place on an ancient battlefield or in a fancy corporate boardroom. It takes place right in the American suburbs, where perfectly manicured lawns and strict architectural guidelines end up crashing head-on into the rising tide of renewable energy.
Okay, let's dive right into this, because it brings this entire legal saga straight into our own backyards. You've got to ask yourself, can your homeowners association actually ban you from putting solar panels on your roof? I mean, if you've ever lived in a planned community, you already know that HOA rules can be notoriously strict. But what happens when those neighborhood aesthetic rules go toe-to-toe with state law and a homeowner who just wants to harness the sun?
To figure that out, we're looking at a landmark 2003 opinion from the Arizona Court of Appeals. The case is Garden Lakes Community Association versus the Madigan and Speak families coming out of Maricopa County, Arizona. By digging into this actual appellate court document, we get a front-row seat to how the justice system navigates that massive tension between private community contracts and state public policy.
Section 1. HOA Rules versus Homeowners.
So this whole dispute kicked off with an inevitable clash between rigid community guidelines and individual property rights. The Garden Lakes HOA set an unbelievably high bar for anyone wanting to go green. If you bought a home there, you agreed to their covenants, and their architectural review committee had rules saying solar panels basically had to be invisible. They couldn't break the roof line, couldn't be seen from the street, and had to be completely hidden from neighbors using solid, architecturally integrated materials. Basically, if you wanted solar, you had to perform magic to hide it flawlessly.
Enter the homeowners, William and Joan Madigan, and Henry and LaVonne Speak. These residents just wanted to heat their swimming pools using solar panels. But instead of trying to navigate the absolute maze of the Architectural Review Committee to meet those near-impossible visual standards, they didn't. They just bypassed the whole approval process and slapped those solar energy devices right on their roofs.
Well, you can probably guess how the HOA reacted. Yeah, not well. They sued the homeowners for breach of contract, and the estimated fines the HOA initially racked up against them? A staggering $100,000. $100,000. Now, right before the trial, the HOA actually dropped those monetary fines, but only to focus all their legal firepower on one single goal: securing permanent injunctions to force the Madigans and the Speaks to rip those solar panels right off their houses.
Section 2. The Solar Protection Law.
But the homeowners weren't totally defenseless here. They actually had a secret weapon, a specific piece of state legislation designed explicitly to protect sustainable energy. They pitted those strict Garden Lakes HOA guidelines against Arizona Revised Statute, Section 33-439A. Enacted way back in 1980, this state law explicitly voids any deed or contract restriction that stops the installation or use of solar energy devices. So we've got a classic showdown: private neighborhood contracts versus state public policy.
The whole case really hinges on how the court interpreted two very specific words in that statute: effectively prohibits. The HOA argued, hey, our rules don't explicitly ban solar panels, we just require them to be hidden. But the law says you can't effectively prohibit them either. So the court had to decide, if you make compliance so practically or financially difficult that it ruins the project, is that a de facto ban?
Section 3. The HOA's absurd alternatives. To try and prove their rules were totally reasonable, the HOA actually brought in experts to suggest alternative ways to hide the panels. But man, a rigid obsession with aesthetic rules can lead to some crazy architectural chaos. Their expert proposed two main ideas. First, build a massive 13 by 40-foot patio cover. The fatal flaw? The Speaks pool was only 6 feet from their house. A patio that huge would literally cover the pool, and, get this, it would violate the city of Avondale setback rules. The second brilliant idea was a 48-foot-long, 5-foot-high louvered screen on the roof.
The HOA's own expert literally described this as analogous to, quote, Venetian blinds for the roof. I mean, think about that for a second. Imagine a giant 48-foot wooden Venetian blind sitting on top of your house. Even the expert admitted he had literally never seen a screening device like this built on a residential roof before. Not only would it shade the panels and kill their efficiency, but a member of the HOA's own architectural committee testified that he completely hated the idea of screening walls altogether.
Section 4. Calculating the true cost. So beyond just looking completely ridiculous, these alternatives came with a massive price tag. Let's talk about the real financial reality of this case, because piling on expenses is exactly how you kill green energy projects. The HOA's construction expert testified that just building that patio cover would cost the homeowners nearly $5,000. And remember, that doesn't even include the cost of the solar panels or the extra labor to mount them onto this brand new patio roof.
Now keep that $5,000 patio cover in your head and contrast it with this number, $4,500. A solar pool heater distributor testified that in the Phoenix market, most consumers will just walk away and abandon the idea completely if the total cost of the system hits $4,500. This financial reality became an absolute powerhouse of a legal argument for the homeowners. The distributor broke down the basic economics of green energy for the court. Solar systems cost more upfront than gas or electric heaters. Consumers only buy them if they know they can make up that price difference through energy savings within 3 to 5 years. So if an HOA demands you build a $5,000 patio cover or a giant roof blind, they push that payoff period way beyond 5 years. And by doing that, they've successfully killed the project. They have effectively prohibited the homeowner from going solar.
Section 5. The Precedent-Setting Verdict.
This economic reality was absolutely the turning point in the case. The appellate court had to weigh this financial burden against the HOA's obsession with aesthetics. Judge John C. Gemmell delivered the decisive blow with this specific line. The HOA tried to argue that costs shouldn't matter at all when it comes to their contracts, but the court completely disagreed, cementing the legal precedent that financial burdens absolutely matter. If following the rules is so incredibly expensive that an average homeowner just gives up, those rules violate state law.
The final opinion was a resounding David over Goliath victory for the homeowners. The court found that because the HOA's alternatives were physically absurd, legally flawed regarding city setbacks, and financially devastating to that crucial 3 to 5 year recoupment window, they acted as an effective prohibition. Because of that, the HOA's restrictions were ruled completely unenforceable as applied to these homeowners. And there was one final, incredibly satisfying detail for the homeowners. Not only did the Madigans and the Speaks get to keep their solar panels exactly where they were, but the court also awarded them their attorney's fees. It was a massive validation of their choice to stand their ground and fight back against the association's overreach. All right, so what's the big takeaway from all this? First, state public policy that favors renewable energy holds a ton of power, and it can absolutely override private HOA deed restrictions. Second, an HOA doesn't have to literally say no solar panels to break the law. Actually, if they make compliance too expensive or try to force you to build something physically absurd, that counts as an effective prohibition. Third, courts recognize the real-world math of going green. Destroying that 3 to 5 year financial recoupment window is a legal violation. And finally, homeowners absolutely have the power to fight back against unreasonable demands.
This 2003 Arizona case sets such a vital precedent for how we balance neighborhood aesthetics with the very real, very necessary push for green energy. And it leaves us with something pretty important to chew on the next time a letter from a neighborhood committee shows up in the mail. What other seemingly reasonable community rules are quietly prohibiting sustainable progress in your own neighborhood? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and definitely keep looking closely at the rules that shape your world.